It seems that...
Huh?
You bitch!
Oh gosh.
Of course.
That doesn't sound right! Nico attacking Ace has something to do with this case? That's nonsense! Nico has an alibi with me, I'll remind you!
I'm not saying Nico performed the murder. I'm saying that Arei's killer and Nico may have used a similar murder method. That's why I need to interrogate Nico.
I know that you're the kind of person to prioritize evidence over people's feelings, but this is too much! Can't you see that you're bringing up painful memories? We shouldn't be discussing this at all! It's simply not relevant! Nico has nothing to do with this case! You're trying to paint them as the villain just because they lost their temper at Ace once! That has absolutely nothing in common with this case!
There's quite a few similarities between Nico's attempted murder and this one. For instance, both used a much longer rope than was needed to simply strangle the victim. Don't you think that's noteworthy?
That means little! If Arei died of a stab wound, it would be wrong for me to say you did it. Isn't this the same? Besides, you proposed that Arei's killer must have used the carousel to wind the rope. But there's no such thing in the gym.
I'll cut through those words! Listen to me. Don't be naive.
You know...
It's my fault.
How cruel! wrong with you?
Piss me off!
How dare you!
Fuck you!
Have you completely lost it?
Irritating.
Asshole!
You sure? Psh. No, it's okay.
It is clearly not okay! How can you let Ace talk to you like that?
Enough. Who? You are letting your sentimentality ruin yourself. The more you continue this nonsensical defense of Nico, the worse you are making it for them. Nico's alibi is dependent on you alone. If you start acting illogically, then we have no choice but to conclude that you no longer can be relied on to confirm their alibi. In which case, we will have to go back to suspecting Nico as Arei's murderer.
Listen to me. You tied a wire to Ace's neck, strung it over one of the ceiling grates, and then taped it to the ceiling fan using a step stool. And then... how would that have worked?
I used the broom. And, like a spool.
Ah, I think I understand. In order to lift Ace into the air, you turned on the fan and held up the handle end of the broom so that the fan would wrap the wire around the broom. When Ace was high enough, you yanked the broom out, releasing all the wire and causing Ace to fall. At least that was the plan. But seeing that the fan broke off, clearly it didn't work exactly like that.
Actually, Ace had woken up and was struggling, and that's why the fan broke off. I didn't really know what to do. But I think he hit his head again when he fell, because he was unconscious again. And then you know.
You didn't want to give up on your murder attempt just yet. So you tried to garrote him with the wire, right?
Yeah.
At that point, Eden and I showed up, and you had to give up completely on killing Ace. In the end, there were many pitfalls with that method of murder, and it failed to kill Ace. All you managed to do was to break the fan, make a mess of the gym, and give Ace some mild injuries.
Asshole!
How interesting!
You piss me off!
You're wrong.
This case is similar to Nico's murder? How?
Both of them involve drop hanging?
And hanging ropes off the ceiling.
That doesn't prove that Arei's murderer actively based their murder off of Nico's. You're simply pointing out perceived similarities between the murders, but there is no actual evidence that directly connects them.
No, that's wrong!
I see. The truth is,
Ah. I mean...
Stop complaining. What a shame!
What a bother.
Pathetic.
It's true that I remember everything I see. But that means that most of my memories are meaningless junk. The kind of thing a normal person would forget without a second thought. But I can't forget. My brain won't work the way I want it to. I can't draw associations so easily. Everything reminds me of something meaningless, and I get distracted. And the worst thing is that I remember it all in perfect detail. Xander's body, Min's execution. I can't even look at Teruko without seeing blood. I know I'm supposed to remember everything. I know I'm supposed to be smart. I know I'm supposed to be helpful. Yet I'm not. I'm sorry for being useless. Maybe if I tried harder, if I just got over myself.
Rose. Thank you, Rose. Because you identified that tape for me, I realized that it's an important piece of evidence that tells me exactly who the murderer could be. If Mono TV was telling the truth that no one was able to access the gym between the time that Ace ran out and when Rose and I went in again, that means that there are only 2 people who could have killed Arei. It's you 2, isn't it? The truth is,
So what?
Stop complaining.
seriously? Listen to me. Of course.
Jeez, dude.
Fuck you!
No way! Don't say that!
Oh, great.
Oh!
I see.
Well...
Because I'm actually the first person to see the body. Exactly what I said. I saw Arei's body first. We've confirmed that I'm not the culprit. So, since I was the first person to see the body, then only 2 more innocent people would have had to see it to set off the body discovery announcement. Everyone's making the assumption that the 3 people who triggered the announcement were Teruko, Whit, and Eden. But there's also the possibility that it was me, Teruko, and Whit. Because those 3 all saw the body at the same time, they cannot determine that each person individually isn't the culprit. Only that their group holds at least 1 innocent person. In other words, this does not prove Eden's innocence.
What?
David, I'm really sorry, but do you really expect everyone to believe such an obvious lie?
Eh?
That doesn't prove anything. There's no way David would have done something that weird, so he's lying.
Yep, that's exactly what I did.
Huh?
When we split up to search for Arei, I was alone. That means that no one can verify my actions at the time. Oh, on the other hand, no one can verify that I didn't do what Nico just described.
David? You're so full of shit! That's such an obvious lie! You could have mentioned that you saw the body first way earlier in the trial, but you only mention this now because you made it up! I'm starting to detect a trend of you coming up with lies on the spot just to fuck things up. How do you expect anyone to believe you, especially after all the shit you've been pulling this entire trial?
Oh, you misunderstand my intentions. I'm not trying to make you believe me. I'm not trying to make any of you believe me.
Then why the hell are you doing this?
The only person who I need to believe me is Teruko.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, believe might be too strong of a word. You're right. My story sounds like a complete fucking lie. Teruko is the biggest skeptic out of all of us. If Che and Nico don't believe it, then there's no way she would. But what's definitely not a lie is the possibility that someone saw the body before Eden did. Most people don't have an alibi in the morning. Anyone could have somehow seen Arei's body before Teruko. As to why that person would withhold that information from the trial, it's anyone's guess. But it should be exceedingly clear by now that everyone's rationales are anything but straightforward, if the secret motives mean anything. It is very possible that Eden setting off the body discovery announcement does not prove her innocence. Thus, we must continue to suspect her as a murderer. You see, all I want is for Teruko to distrust others. That's why I'm doing this, telling such obvious lies. There is no other proof of Eden's innocence. As long as there's a possibility that the evidence is false, as long as there's even the slightest reason to distrust others, then Teruko cannot trust Eden. Isn't that right, Teruko? It's in your nature to distrust people. Everyone you know has already betrayed you. There's no one in this world who won't hurt you. Even the people you love will turn their backs on you in the end. You know that well enough, don't you? So distrust in others, because that's the only way you know how to live.
That can't be true!
Think about it.
Hey.
Aw, frig!
Is it possible that... Allow me to elaborate.
Now that you mention it...
You bitch!
I'm Arei's killer? No. No way. Eden, please, don't cry.
This whole time I've been trying to hold myself together because Arei died. I wanted so badly for this all to be a dream and for Arei to be alive and by my side. And now, you all think I killed her. Why? I cared about her. Arei is... She could have been my friend. Why would I kill her?
Eden, please calm down.
Why am I being accused of murdering Arei? I wanted to help her. I just wanted to be friends with her. Why would you say that I killed her? Is it because you think I hated her? That's not true. I didn't hate her.
Eden.
Teruko, I didn't kill Arei. Do you believe me?
Listen.
I didn't do it. Please, believe me. This whole trial has been cruel to me. Help me, Teruko. I can't stand it. I just wanted to help Arei. I didn't kill her.
You know I can't just take your words at face value, Eden.
Please, Teruko. You're my friend, aren't you? Friends help each other. So please help me. I promise I didn't kill her. I'm innocent. Please trust me. Please.
Eden. Eden, pick up your head. Look at me. At this point in the trial, since I've narrowed Arei's killer down to just 2 suspects, I'm going to pursue each suspect individually under the assumption that they're the killer. That way, I can see if any evidence matches up to them only. In other words, I'm going to choose my primary suspect right now. Even if that preliminary guess is wrong, I can always go back and attack the other suspect. So for now, I'm going to assume you're innocent.
What? Really? Thank you so much, Teruko.
Don't get me wrong. This isn't out of kindness or pity or anything else. This is only because you helped me in the last trial. I'm repaying your favor and nothing else. That's why I'll trust you. Just this once.
Teruko. Thank you, Teruko.